Missouri's health department is reporting more than 2,000 new COVID-19 cases today. The state's positivity rate is still at 14%. In Kansas, since Wednesday, it's reporting 2,600 new cases. Its monthly positivity rate is at 10.3%. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly held a news conference in Johnson County today focusing on the status of the pandemic in the state.
Haley Harrison is here, the governor, focusing on hospitalizations and the vaccine.
Well, that's right, Chris. And she says Kansas is struggling right now and that things could get worse if more people don't get vaccinated. The governor says 6 of the state's largest hospitals are full. 2/3 of those beds are being taken by COVID-19 patients. Doctors say this makes it harder to treat patients who don't have COVID-19. Governor Kelly and doctors are encouraging everyone to get the vaccine. They say right now one of the biggest threats is misinformation.
Misinformation has been and continues to be deadly. Deadly. I'm not being dramatic. If you have questions, we know this is a novel virus and information has changed and recommendations have changed based on that. If you have questions, don't go to Facebook, don't go to YouTube. Go to your doctor, your physician that you trust, the same doctor that walked you along when you were pregnant, that you took your children to, the pediatrician or family doctor that walked that journey with you.
I implore unvaccinated Kansans to think about these doctors and nurses, your neighbors and your friends, your children and their teachers.
Now, Kansas is also facing a shortage of healthcare workers. The governor is considering hiring contract workers, but that usually means trying to outbid other states. Governor Kelly is also asking anyone in the medical profession to lend a hand if they can. Now, coming up on KMBC 9 News at 4:30, the governor is going to talk about the recent surge in cases and the problems that creates for schools and your child's education. Chris.
Haley, thank you. As for COVID hospitalizations nationwide, new records are being set for those under the age of 50. The biggest jump involves people 30 to 39 and kids under 18. The CDC says those rates are up more than 30% from early January. Doctors at the University of Kansas Health System say more people are going to local hospitals with COVID. So many, in fact, hospitals are out of wiggle room and turning away transfers. Dr. Tim Williamson is director of the Center for Pulmonary Arterial Hypertension, and he's concerned about the rising number of COVID patients and people needing other critical care in the months to come.
Additional strain on the system will come at the expense of having to really go into those sorts of mass casualty modes like, we've seen the tents in the garages in Mississippi.
Dr. Williamson says those numbers may rise as schools are back in session and people gather for the Labor Day weekend.
Last night, the Kansas City, Missouri City Council voted to extend the mask mandate another month. The action drew several heated responses from the public this week, including emotional testimony from a council member. She lost her mother to COVID-19 last December. KMBC 9's Bianca Beltran sat down with Andrea Boo to talk about her experience and the council's decision.
Speaking before the city council, Andrea Boo shared one of her final memories of her mother.
I had not seen my mother in person since the prior Christmas. But the image of my mother gasping for air is one that I will never forget.
Her mother tested positive for COVID-19 4 days before Christmas. A week later, she was gone. Boo spoke about her experience as the council voted to extend the mask mandate in Kansas City and were met by heated opposition.
When someone says it's my personal freedom, my personal liberty to do this or do that, that has to be balanced against the impact that your exercise of that liberty or freedom will have on the common good.
Boo did not get a chance to talk to her mother about these challenges she's facing in office, but carries her with her in her decisions.
We may not have agreed on everything, but I know that she was proud of me. And I think she would have been proud of what I did yesterday.
Bianca Beltran, KMBC 9 News.
The City Council will be revisiting the mask ordinance next month and deciding whether to extend it or to let it expire September 23rd. We are getting a lot of questions answered about those booster shots for COVID-19 vaccines.
Specifically, if you received a single-dose Johnson & Johnson shot, KMBC 9's Matt Fleener shows us what you need to know.
One and done. That was the common theme for people who received that one-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
But this week, the CDC announced third doses coming in September for Pfizer and Moderna vaccines. So where does that leave you if you got a Johnson & Johnson shot?
So I think we don't know the answer to that yet.
Dr. Sarah Boyd with St. Luke says we have to wait a few more weeks to learn more. Remember, people didn't start getting that single-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine until March, about 6 months ago.
I think they'll look at that 6-month data of real-world J&J people and, have they gotten ill or not, and use that to review the data as they make a decision about what do we need to do for J&J vaccine.
We know that the people who did receive the Johnson & Johnson Janssen vaccine kind of do feel left out a little bit.
Another question, if you got a J&J vaccine, can you switch to get a Pfizer or Moderna shot?
Overall, that is a large question, and I think what we have been told to expect is that within the next few weeks, they will have more information.
Once they do, we'll be sure to pass it along. Matt Fleener, KMBC 9 News.
Doctors continue to say all 3 vaccines are very effective, preventing hospitalization and death. The University of Missouri now has a dedicated COVID-19 vaccination site. The university's healthcare system says it's to meet increased demand for vaccinations and boosters in mid-Missouri. Appointments can be scheduled